were working in a service-based company before.
Yeah.
You were a founding designer there.
Yeah.
Right? Worked there for 5 years and then you got promoted eventually to a principal designer role.
Yeah.
After that, you joined as a lead designer at Procol. So the main problems with people who are in agencies face is one thing, they have breadth of work, but
Yep.
depth of work is lacking.
Yes.
Right? And if you're moving to a product company, some product company would obviously want to see the depth of work, at least some depth of work.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't, one, not having a depth of work is like one problem, right? You must have done something to solve that. So we'd love to know what that was. Second was, you are going into a leadership role, right? The starting steps of a leadership role, right? What, according to you, did you actually projected, or how did you projected yourself to those few companies who shortlisted you, give you a position of a lead designer from an agency to a product company leading their teams?
So this is actually now started maintaining a Notion page of work
Hmm.
reviews. They would drop me
Hmm.
thanking messages, or somebody I helped in critique or a feedback that I've given on their project. So I would have take a
Hmm.
screenshot of it and put it into my Notion. Second
Hmm.
is also the work review. So whatever I shipped at procedure,
Hmm.
often there
Hmm.
will be messages. Some customer highly spoke about design and really thank you, Yug, for this. I would take a screenshot and just document it. Whenever I used to go into interview, I'll just do one thing. I, I would
Hmm.
not say anything, but let these people see what they said it right about me. And it is not that I made it up. It is actual screenshots of messages or WhatsApp messages that even customers who I dealt with, they pinged me that it was
Hmm.
really wonderful to work with you and so on. So that was a good strategy to make people believe that okay, you have some depth in your work. So yes, even contributing to open source projects like healthicons.org. So Daniel Baraka, the designer from Simple, and he once tweeted about the world, the problem that health icons are not really great and it's difficult to understand, and we need to have a library which will be simplified enough for humans to understand, and
Hmm.
uh, let us build those because those are very way too complex, cannot be executed, uh, and so on. So I proactively went and just DM'd, hey, I'll be interested. Yes, I have contributed almost 150 to 100 icons just randomly on weekends.
Hmm.
And there was people all around the globe, right, contributing to it. So I collaborated with them. So I had also had backing of or messages or DMs from these
Hmm.
folks about the work that I have performed. I wrote a case study about it. So these kind of projects also helped
Hmm. Hmm.
to tell
Okay.
them that how am I a person who could collaborate within teams, which is an open source project, designing for a
Hmm.
cause, right? And uh, stakeholder management is something that was projected from the messages that were given from our clients, right? And my name into it, right?
Name.
So
Hmm.
work and messages were sufficient enough for them to analyze that, okay, this person has some graft in it.
Interesting. So that this is what you call a hype dog.
Yeah, it's a hype up. It
That
helps
when
you at days when you
yeah.
are really low and you come
Yeah.
across imposter syndrome and you don't you see people doing crazy work online and you somehow start comparing. Those dark days, open this document, just scan through it, put a pat on your back and start grinding again.
So people obviously have personal goals, personal milestones also, and for some people, titles do usually matter,
Mm.
right? It also matters for you to project what you have been up to the world, right? How do I know that I'm ready?
You
Okay.
never know. Because see, it's a myth that people say that you're ready for this. You're ready. Now I'm ready for this role. If you are presented with an opportunity, go take it, grab it, and dive into it. That's my first suggestion to people. If they start wondering, it's not my responsibility, it's my lead's responsibility to do it. I'll not do it right now.
Mm,
I'll just focus on
mm,
my this work, go back home, sleep well, come back tomorrow, do the same job. Nobody's going to take care, look you in those shoes.
mm,
What if you go and confront your lead that
mm,
let me sit with you on say planning of the things that needs to be done for the pod or the next quarter
mm,
goals that we want to meet, or what let me sit
mm,
with you on what are your biggest challenges where I could help you out in this way without being asked, right?
mm,
Now I know this is selfless, but it's not, to be very honest, because in this course you're learning what is to be in that position. So you have to be a little proactive in that sense to transition to those roles. At a certain point, it's going to be people always. It's not how beautiful craft that you have done. Yes, it is surely important to have a taste, and then
Mhm.
you could spot it easily from whenever it is presented. But I think how do you navigate and make people do what you intend to do, what is needed to be done, is super crucial,
Mhm.
and that is something that no one teaches you. It is something that you need to observe and grasp in real time.
So again, yeah. So reciprocating to what you just said, right? So जो note मैंने लिखा था, it says that is what the difference between the title and the responsibility. Focusing on responsibilities matter, and one way you have told that whatever responsibility you want, start mirroring them or start at least inquiring about them in your current company if that exists.
Yeah.
What's the biggest gap between what people think lead designer does versus what you do on a day-to-day basis when you are a lead designer
A
specifically?
lot of people, especially the beginners, think lead design was design.
Okay.
And when they think of design, is what they imagine is they would be moving pixels, but they don't.
Okay.
I mean, they do 20% of the time, but that's at an
Hmm.
initial stage of wireframing also, or brainstorming, or
Okay.
making people or giving direction to the teams, but not
Hmm.
really jumping into the files and working by themselves. The job is to get the job done from senior designers and then from junior
Okay.
designers and so on. So the
Okay.
articulation needs to be really, really, really well.
Okay.
As a lead designer, you're closely knit with the design itself, but you have a larger influence of other departments like tech and product, and even for that matter, sales and marketing. Nobody speaks of
Hmm.
that. That you would also be sitting in a room with a sales side to move the business metric. Nobody thinks in that perspective. People think हाँ product designer है, lead product designer, तो product का ही कुछ feature जो है वो lead करता होगा, or they would be owning that thing. That's the primary thing that they do. With those things also comes a responsibility of some part of product, some part of, you know, inter-team stakeholder management, intra-team stakeholder
Hmm.
management. All of those things also come into play. Well,
What other like hard skills and soft skills should a senior designer develop before or after they have jumped into this responsibility of a lead designer?
mentorship, super important, because you
Right.
cannot be everywhere, but you can make your
Mm.
replicas in people, right? I mean, you would ask, train people so well that they would
Mm.
function very well in your absence. Good confirmatory test for that is if a leader goes on leave for a couple of
Mm.
days, how does the team function? So if it is really good, it is not a failure, or it is not like you don't need the leader now, but rather that
Mm.
leader did a really brilliant job in mentoring people and making sure that the processes are right, making sure that everything is moving seamless. When I say mentoring, uh, not everyone can, to be very honest, because
Yeah.
and that kind of separates people from being a principal designer versus a lead, right? I mean, principal is
Mm.
someone who will be in IC role, who does the heavy lifting, who does a lot of cool stuff in the company, does
Mhm.
crazy designs. And
Mhm.
lead is someone I feel who makes those design happen via people. Articulation is super crucial, and so is mentorship, like using that articulation to make thing happen.
What, according to you, are some of the mistakes that senior designers, which I mean here is people with 4+ years of experience, that who are applying for lead design roles are making? Right. That's one. Another question is, how would you today, if you has to hire a lead designer, I'm not saying for Procol, right? You are at some company where you have to hire a lead designer. What specific attributes, hard skills and soft skills would you be looking at in a designer that you would hire? Because we know there is no perfect candidate. So obviously you will have to prioritize what you would rather have and what you would rather compromise with.
Very good question. I guess people focus a lot on what needs to be done to be a lead designer, but people fail to understand the business context of it. They do not just go into the business. People go so narrow into that rabbit hole of यार ये craft इतना beautiful है, ये इतना बहुत बढ़िया है.
Mhm.
That is necessary. That's
Mhm.
food, clothing, shelter for any designer. That should be there. but there is a world apart from it, wherein it is contributing to the business, right? Speaking of that, uh, actively questioning your leaders about your current numbers, actively questioning about how could they help to achieve those numbers, right?
Hmm.
Is what they don't do, right? They don't speak of their
Hmm.
impacts. So how would I hire? Would answer that
Hmm.
question also. Like it's not just the 4 years
Okay.
of experience, but what they have done, right?
Hmm.
And when I say what they have done is a good metric to track a leader is how many people did this guy actually mentor or was a reportee for? I mean, who reported to this person and what these people are doing right now?
Hmm.
Are they in the same position? Have they moved to some
Hmm.
different company and excelling it? Who did
Okay.
they mentor? So these kind of research work also helps with the help of HR team to understand that okay, these people work together. Background checks like I'll directly call up someone in the team and question इससे
Hmm.
काम में मजा आया कि नहीं आया,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Uh, it is and obviously with the consent of the person who is interviewing. But I usually do that. The reason being that tells a lot about the person who is actually in the team, who would be in your team. How did they function in a team before, right?
Hmm.
So what are the weaknesses? What are the strengths that they come up with? Are each are the reason being skills can be taught. Culture
Hmm.
is to be groomed, right? So
Okay.
what background do they come from? Okay, some questions like tell me about a situation or a moment in your life where you felt lost and you still overcome that situation with something, right? Or
Hmm.
tell me something about yourself in which in your peer group nobody's doing but you are, and that separates you from the rest of the masses, right?
Hmm.
To a length about that person valuing something, chasing the
Hmm.
dreams, resilience, grit, or learning about these stories from them. So
Hmm.
I usually do the cultural rounds. All of those rounds, like evaluation about the design, how they solve problems, are usually done by the team members. I come at the very last
Hmm.
step and to just understand their story. So that matters a lot because what are their values? How
Hmm.
who are their who are their idols who they really admire? What are the learnings from them? These questions are super important for them to function really great and foster the culture within the company, both of excellence
Hmm.
as well as making sure that the entire team is happy.
If there are some follow-up questions, I will send them over to you.
For
You
sure,
can answer them back, and I will put them wherever I'm putting this.
for sure,
Uh,
for sure, for sure.